Welcome back to Sticks and Strings. I'm Naomi.
I'm Beth.
I'm Eve.
And a miracle happened. The miracle is we turned off our air conditioner for the first time. I was trying to think, when was the last time we had it off? It was probably, maybe February, March, maybe? So
I didn't turn ours off, but it ain't coming on.
Yeah, ours is off. Ours is actually physically off. Mark had all the windows open last night. The house is cold all by itself. It's so exciting.
So at this moment, it's 62.
I know. I woke up and it was 52. I'm in long sleeves. So it's like,
I went outside for something this morning and I'm wearing shorts, and I was like, I think I need long pants now.
I know. It was so nice.
I was wondering about that because the symphony concert tonight. I was like, I don't know. I was trying to think. Well, I need to wear something, probably something warm.
You do wear something warm and bring a jacket.
Also, this strange water stuff is coming
I
down.
know. That's weird too.
All my warm clothes are packed away because we were thinking we were going to be, out of here. So I have no jackets. I have no sweatshirts. I have no warm anything.
Well, fortunately, you're inside most of the time. But I lent her a sweater.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's really beautiful. Actually, last night it was chill. There was a chill, but it wasn't horrible. I took my sweater off before I got back in the car. But
your stuff was some of the last stuff taken, so you can always ask Robert to go get your clothes.
Not by tonight.
No, but you have
good to
get colder.
You have pants.
Anyway, we're very excited. We're getting geek out by the weather. So, so I am going to go first because I literally have one thing to talk about. I've been working on this cowl. This is a cowl I think I started just before we recorded last week, and I have. And the picture, I'm like, this looks like a piece of bacon from afar because it's. So this is the cowl I'm making for my friend with the two separate yarns that I made. These are the yarns. This one is multicolored. This one is also, but it's mostly purple. And so with this, you do 3 rows of purl stitches, and then 9 rows of knit stitches, 3 rows of purl, 9 rows of knit. I'll put a close up here. So I feel like we're really far away from the camera today.
Yeah.
Anyway,
You have the thing back further. It's usually closer to the table.
yeah. Well, I'm trying to fit us all in so we don't have to sit like this. Anyway,
We clash.
yeah, we do kind of clash. And the alternating purl and
I didn't get the purple memo.
purl and knit stitches makes this ribbing. She left us again.
Two Sisters Creative. Welcome to Two Sisters Creative. I was gonna say I didn't get the purple memo.
Sorry, I forgot my scissors.
She left us again. Okay, so this has to be 10 inches in width, and then you make 1 more row of the purl stitches, and then you cast off. So I don't even know how many inches this is. I was going to measure it to kind of see how many repeats I need to do. But it's going quickly. It's very simple knit, but the yarn then is playing a major role, and I think it'll be pretty. Okay, right now this minute, when I started making it, I was like, this is kind of ugly, but I think overall, when I'm done with it, it'll be pretty because this yarn, which I'm working with right now, makes a lot of different color changes, and so I don't think it's ugly, I guess. At first, when I was like here with the first 2 ribs, I'm like,
A lot of stuff until you get further
but
in
I think
it.
once there's more of the purple, it will take over and it will look like a purple cowl.
Yeah, I was gonna say when you first glance at it, it looks kind of brownish because you don't see the different colors.
Yeah,
but when you
Yeah,
get a
so I
better
think,
look at it.
I think as we get more purple in there, it'll look a lot better. I had a friend last night. I took it with me. I worked the symphony concert last night. It was so good, but I didn't listen. I stayed out in the lobby doing my job, and so I had my knitting with me, and I kind of had it. It was I only worked on it when there was nobody in the lobby, and I was sitting at the table, and I had my hands kind of down here below the table, and but I had a friend of mine say, "Why would you make yarn? Why would you spin yarn if there's already commercial yarn made?" And I was trying to say, like, well, you have a lot of control over the width and the color changes, and you have,
Why do you make your own clothes?
Well, and I said,
off the rack clothes.
Right. Why does anybody? And he goes, yeah, I was waiting for you to say, why do you grill a burger at home when you can buy one at McDonald's? And I was like, shut up. Okay. I was trying to explain this to you, but it's the same thing, Why cook at home if you can buy it?
Right.
Because you want to
Control
what you're making. And
Mm-hmm.
it was just a couple guys, and they were making fun of me. They're like, oh, so you're a control freak. Leave me alone. You don't even care why I make yarn. You're just teasing me. But yeah, so this is all I've been working on. I finished my dress. Okay, and then I was like, I told the story about I did, didn't I? About the zipper foot that I had. No, I did. I told.
Maybe.
I think I remember.
You told about the hem and about hemming it and.
Having to hem it twice.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, because on Friday night I had to still hem it, but I told the story of the zipper because I had put the zipper in by the time we recorded. Anyway, craziness. Because we recorded on Friday night last week.
Yes.
Yeah, and I had put the zipper in already because remember you came over and did a fitting for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but because I was like, I'm gonna get the video done before the gala. And remember, I actually did put a picture of the finished dress at the gala because I did not get the video done before the gala, and I slipped it in there. But yeah, no, that went well. You never look in pictures the way you think you look when you put something on, and you see a picture and you're like, really? But I was pleased. I was pleased with the dress.
I thought you looked pretty.
And well, I know, but you're used to looking at me. I'm not, so that's that's why. But then, so I worked that whole weekend, and then I've been working every single day since. So I'm kind of zoned out. But I get Monday off as my because if we work whole weekends, we get a day off during the week, which is really nice. Our boss kind of insists on it. She's like, "Have you picked a day you're going to be off yet?" So it's nice. So yeah, that's all I'm doing. Literally this, and I have a deadline now, a new deadline. It was December, but now it's going to be middle of November because we're doing an event with this woman that I'm knitting this for, and that's happening mid-November. So I'm like, okay, that's going to be my target date because I'm going to go to the event and I'm going to say, here's your card. The way it was with Miriam, with Hannah's teacher last year. I was like, I'm going out there, so now this is my new deadline, and I'm going to kill myself to get this done. But this is not anywhere near that complicated, so it'll be much easier to get it done. Anyway, so that's me. I'm done.
I'm going to go next.
Yeah.
Okay. Except I have to put a thread. I don't like the threads to be on the front when I'm talking about it. So right now I am working on my second WIP-GO project for whatever month this is, October. And this is Joyful Snowman. It's Dimensions kit. And I don't know if you remember what it looked like a week ago, but I basically had these little bunnies done and some of this darker blue.
Yeah.
But I've gotten a lot more done. It's actually more than what it looks like because I can't work on just one section at a time. I have to, because I'm working on the color, And of course, I had to frog out some stuff that I was like, that's not in the right place. And so I frogged it, and then I go back to stitch it. I was like, oh, I guess it was in the right place.
No.
Yeah, so that's what I'm working on as we speak here today. But, very exciting, I finished my temperature chart from last year. Yay!
Yay.
And now I can go see if I can find a, well, maybe not right now, but soon I can see if I can go find a suitable frame for it. I would have to iron it. And we do have an iron. It's still here. I don't know why we left it here.
Come over and borrow my iron.
I don't know why we left it here because we have no ironing board.
I was like, isn't that one of Mom's little ironing boards still here?
I don't know.
I thought I saw it somewhere, either in her closet or in the garage. One of those, that little bitty one she had.
Anyway, I was just now looking at it going, yeah, that thing needs ironing. And it's not essential that it get framed right now, you know.
No, yeah.
Because I'm not going to put any nails on the wall and hang it anywhere. So, oh, and I didn't show this. It was Sapphire Mountain Handcrafts 2023 Temperature SAL. You probably could do this any month that isn't a leap year.
Any
Just
year.
change any year,
Yeah.
and just change the year right here. I noticed it's still up for sale, and it's just such a beautiful pattern. So, as we were saying, this is Stitch and Mommy's Temperature Turtles, and it is finally cooled off. Look at all those colors.
Wow. Nice.
I was like, yay. I still have to go back and do the long stitches on the turtle that I've finished. But I'm really happy to see something besides red.
Yeah.
For many reasons at Dutch Brothers. I feel sorry for the people at Dutch Brothers that go down the line taking your order, you know, when it's over 100 outside and they're wearing ice packs and you can tell that they're very uncomfortable. If it gets too bad, they don't send them out there. But there they were outside this morning in the rain. It was rain for us, okay? It wasn't pouring or anything. It was sprinkling.
So you can't have it both ways.
And I was like, yeah, you know, a lot of times when I spend money somewhere and they're like, do you want to leave a tip? And I'm like, I'm sorry, no. What are you doing, you know, other than doing your job, you know?
Yeah.
Right? And so, no, I'm not leaving a tip. But those guys that are standing outside at Dutch Brothers,
Yeah.
yes, they're getting paid to stand out there, but it can be very unpleasant for them. I did a tiny bit more work on Sweet Wing Studio Goodness and Mercy. I finished the other S, and I put the inside of a flower right here. I would have done more, except my eyes were rebelling, going, stop it. Certain times of day, the lighting is not horrible where I'm trying to stitch, but other times of day, you're like, I need to stitch on Ada. Because I'm looking at those going, did those holes get smaller? I think they did. No, like I can see the holes perfectly right now, but when I was working on this, I kept putting it in the wrong spot and going, no, okay, I'm not getting anywhere on that. So I switched to this. This is Hands-On Design, Blueberry, the Berry Basket. I fixed all the mistakes I made and then started doing more stuff. I put the little brown connectors inside the berries here.
That's very cute.
Started adding more berries.
Oh wow, it looks really.
Did the little insides of the berries, even though the berries aren't there. So hopefully when I put the berries on them, they'll be in the right spot. This was my favorite one. Now it didn't take me as long to finish the strawberry one as it's taking me to finish this blueberry one. But of the 3 that I've seen so far, this one was my favorite. And I like blueberries fine, but you know, that's not why, you know. I just think it's so pretty.
It is very delicate looking.
Yeah.
You know what I like is all the leaves and branches.
I don't know if you remember one of Dad's sisters, I want to say Aunt Phoebe, but it was probably Charlotte, had blueberry bushes in her backyard.
Oh, no idea.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, look, you can just take the berries off. I did that once. We didn't go to her house very often. Okay, so I was very bad. I kept seeing stuff by Pigeon Coop.
Yeah.
And I wanted to start with something small, so I chose this. This is called Wolf. And not as much here as you do in Albuquerque. In Albuquerque, everywhere you look, there's a howling wolf, and probably because of the lobos.
Those coyote, yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Coyotes or wolves?
Yeah,
No,
logos,
no.
I guess, logos, yeah.
Oh.
No,
yeah.
I mean, in people's yards and stuff,
Yeah,
there's
that's what
the
I mean,
howling
but-
wolf.
Yeah. Mhm.
It's not coyotes. Anyway, what was I saying? Anyway, not as much here, but he has a group of 4 patterns of the desert Southwest. And this was one of them, and I thought it was really cute. It shows it on the picture as being finished in a hoop. Yeah, that's not going to happen. So I wanted to kit it up, and I went to, there were some threads I didn't have, and I went to Hobby Lobby, and I could not find black Ada. I don't think they sell it anymore. But I remember, I was going to go to Michael's or Joann's, but, you know, I didn't want to that day. I was tired. So I found this in my stash.
Ah.
I was like, yay!
Yay, past me. Thank you, past me.
Thank you, Bessie. Actually, I think I bought it for a Stitching with the Housewives pattern, but they don't have any like deep colored Ada at Hobby Lobby anymore, which is really sad because there's a lot of patterns that should have that. But after I bought that, after, you know, a day or a few hours, I don't know.
Where did you buy that pattern?
Etsy.
Online.
Oh.
Yeah. I said Pigeon Coop, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is one of the other ones. I got a discount on the second one. I said, okay, I'll go back and get the other one I was looking at.
Ooh.
Isn't that beautiful? But this seems more difficult than the other one. Not in that it's more challenging stitching or whatever, but it has fractional stitches in it. So does this one.
Yeah.
I didn't notice it, but these are all half. See right here to
yeah.
make the hair.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I was like, oh, cool. But no, this seems like it's a lot more counting.
And is it full coverage?
No,
No.
all
It
the
shows through.
all the white
All
here
white is
is
unstitched.
the wolf isn't full coverage either.
Oh, let me see it.
Yeah,
Did you use block Ada? So the wolf is negative
The
space.
wolf is negative. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. That's kind of cool.
But only the wolf. Everything else is stitched on that. But here, there's a lot of stuff that's not stitched. But, you know, the funny thing is it says Cougar Canyon is the name of this piece, of this pattern. But then it says after that, Puma. And I'm like,
The Canyon de Puma.
I'm like,
Aren't they
I
two
like
different
the-
things?
huh?
Aren't they two different things?
So to us, yeah.
But in French, not.
I guess not.
That's really pretty. It looks like Hobbs.
But I didn't kit up this one because I want to do this one
So
first.
cute.
Yeah. I like all the cactus down there and
Yeah.
yeah. And there's two others. A desert tortoise, which I almost got the first time. And saguaros, which meh.
So it was funny you say Cougar Canyon. So there's a mountain. There's a particular mountain out east of where we are, and the Superstition Mountains is called. And at a certain time of year, at a certain time of day, one mountain casts a shadow on the other, and it looks like a cougar jumping like that. And if I find it, I'll put it here.
Lastly, Beth kind of encouraged me
Enabled
to
you?
consider the Jingle Ball. So it was kind of like
So wait, what is the Jingle Ball?
the Jingle Ball is an online convention.
Virtual stitching event.
Yeah.
Stitching retreat. basically.
Yeah, and it happens in December. Therefore, jingle. And there's a little area where you can shop for patterns. Beth last year, I think, spent a lot of money doing.
$1
But there's also classes and stuff like that you can take. And I wasn't planning to do that. I was planning to just do the entry fee to go look at stuff and stitch with other people, right? But then I saw this tiny modernist gingerbread house. I love gingerbread houses.
Let me see it.
So it's a class to finish the gingerbread.
Yeah, so I have the pattern already, so I can stitch it right now. And theoretically, during the time of the Jingle Ball, I can put it together while I'm watching, or I can get instruction to put it together, what have you. But
That's really cute.
isn't it? And let me back up. I've always liked gingerbread houses. I remember Mom making gingerbread cookies. And occasionally we would try to make gingerbread houses. And I am colossally bad at real gingerbread houses. So when I was in Florida, I worked buying for the hard crafts department. And there was a company, I don't know if the company still exists. I haven't seen any of their stuff. I have no idea. But there was a company called Accents Unlimited, and they were based out of Wisconsin. At the, what is it called, where you go in and see all the buyers or something? I went in there looking at stuff, and they were there touting their wares, wearing cheese head hats and giving out cheese nips.
Nice.
Their catalog, on the very back, it says it had all like a cartoon drawing of all of them. and
It's like a good place to work.
and when you would call to make an order, when they answered the phone, they would say, "It's another happy day at Accents Unlimited." And their packaging was funny.
Yeah.
And I bought a gingerbread house. And on the packaging, and it was still at Mom's house, but I don't know what happened to it. I don't know where it is. I don't know if it ever came here. I have no idea. On the packaging, it said, "Looks good enough to eat." And then in parentheses underneath, it said, but tastes awful. And I loved having that gingerbread house. I loved putting it out. It had a light to go underneath and all this stuff. And I just loved that I didn't have to mess with frosting that never sticks the stuff together. They tortured us with gingerbread houses a year ago.
Yeah,
Last
last
Christmas Eve, we had a gingerbread house contest.
Yeah.
So when I saw this, I was like, that is my jam. This kind of gingerbread house that doesn't make my hands sticky.
And doesn't fall apart.
Yeah.
Well, it might fall apart. Depends on how good I am at sticking together. And of course, it probably does have glue, so I might get sticky anyway.
But only one time. And it'll last. So let me understand. So the Jingle Ball happens in December, but right now you go and you buy patterns and you get ready for
Yeah,
it?
if you take a class, if you take a class, you can either get a full kit that they send you,
I see.
or a PDF.
But I'm saying, like, right now,
So
you're
yeah,
getting
so you
ready
stitch
to
it,
do it.
yeah, and you do all the stitching. And then when they hold the class, it helps teach you how to finish it.
If I had all my craft stuff here, I would definitely try to be ready so that I could put it together during the class.
Yeah.
However, that being said, the entry to just go and sit in the stitching rooms and go to the shopping thing, that's just $10. Anybody can do it, you know. But getting a ticket yesterday when they first went on sale, it was like in the Big Bang Theory when they were all trying to get in Comic-Con.
Is there a limit?
No.
Not of the people that can join for the $10, but they ran out of stuff.
If you do the PDF version of the patterns for classes, there's no limit. The only thing that would be sold out would be if you get a kit,
An
actual
actual kit, I see.
kit, because somebody has to send out an actual kit to you. So then the only.
So did you buy anything else besides that pattern?
Just the entry sheet.
Oh, you
Are
restrained yourself.
you kidding? I could barely afford this.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, I couldn't afford this, but I wanted it.
Yeah.
If I didn't have such a sweet son, I would have had to say, well, I'll just pass on that and wait till it's available.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's me.
Okay. I've been stitching frantically because I was thinking I meant to do this last night, but I kept falling asleep, so I had to just go to sleep. Excuse me. But because I was wanting to have this finished by now, and I thought, well, maybe I can finish it while we're talking, but I'm not
Completely
quite.
finished?
Almost, yeah. I have one little stitch that goes up here. I didn't want to have to move the hip hoop, but when I finish stitching this, it'll be done.
Oh, well, sure.
Yeah.
I can't stitch with you, Cindy.
Can I beat you with a stick?
She sits with me when I do my video, and so she's looking at me like,
But I'm supposed to be here.
She's so
I'm gonna
cute.
put you down now.
Okay, so, first of all, last week I was working on my birthday stitching, which was the House Panther pattern from the Lindy Stitches Black Cat Season series of patterns. So this is the whole thing so far. It's very wrinkled because it's not, I haven't ironed it, and I've been working on it. I've been rolling up the thing, the fabric. But so this is the fourth one of 6 patterns in this Black Cat Season. And then she also did these freebie little borders that you could put in between the stitching or wherever, So So the one I finished finally was Beware House Panther, is this one here. And I went ahead and did the border underneath it so it's ready for the next one. Because there's just 2 left. And this is 32 count. Yeah, Blackberry Latte by Grace Note Fabrics that you could order from Lindy Stitches specifically for this project. So this is a skinny half instead of a fat half or quarter or whatever. I don't know, quarter half. I don't know what those are for. But this is a skinny version because it's long and it's the same measurement, I guess,
Instead
as
of a fat quarter,
version.
it's a
Yeah,
skinny
but it's cut differently. So yeah, so I went ahead and bought like everything for the thing because I was so excited, you know. And then I stalled out on finishing it. But so I just have 2 more patterns to go. So this is the one I finished, House Panther. And this is the next one up, which is, the title of it is Good Luck. It says, see a black cat, pick it up, all the day you'll have good luck. or the cat will scratch your eyes out, which, depending on the cat.
Depending on which black cat.
Yes. Like, you know, I was at my cat Tuck, he's a tuxedo cat. And when I was, you know, in my apartment, and he's kind of the same way now, but, you know, like whenever people would come over, he's loved people, you know. The repairman for the heater, he just loved, you know, he'd sit there and like, oh, hello, you know. but and then he wants you to pet him, and then he'll bite you. I had a student's mother that came over, and she was, you know, she was talking to him, and I had an old antique radio, one of those tall, sits on the floor radios that my parents had. And so I had it there in my apartment, and he would jump up on there all the time, right? And so when this woman came over, you know, she was talking to me, blah, 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 and Puck jumped up there and, you know, put his head down. He wanted to be petted. So she was petting him, and she was like, oh, hi. And then he went,
Oh, jeez.
and her hand was bleeding. I'm like, oh, my God, I'm going to get sued.
Like that cartoon where the cat's going, please pet me, and the person tries to pet me and says, with your eyes.
But, you know, so he loves strangers, but at the same time, he
Hates everyone.
he kind of, yeah, he's very, very specific about what he does. Anyway, so that's one of the reasons that I got this Black Cat season. So anyway, I had to finish. And really, you know, because it was almost done, you know, I just went ahead and stitched like, I don't know, 3 days or whatever to finish it. And then, so I actually, I was gonna say, I've had 3 finishes, because last week I finished Karma Chameleon, I showed that. And I had finished the October Rabbit. And now I finished Black Cat season. And now,
You just finished one of them, and you still have more to go. So it's,
Finish one black cat.
you didn't
season.
Yeah.
finish the whole thing.
Yeah,
you just
I
finished
just
one of them.
finished the one
The
Black
pattern.
Cat season pattern, yeah. So the Karma Chameleon and the October Rabbit was my first WIP-GO call for this month. And so my second one was the Fox, was the main one, and Barn Owl is the secondary one for this call, but I haven't started that yet. But the Fox, I thought I had kind of a long way to go, but it is almost finished. So all that's missing, let me put this behind it a little bit here.
The fox is so beautiful.
All it's missing is the last few stitches, the bottom of this tail. I just went ahead and worked on it like crazy to finish
So
it.
pretty.
And then there's like one little snowdrop thing on the top that needs to be done.
Wow, because you thought this was going to take you forever.
Yeah, it was pretty dense, and I thought it was going to take me forever. And but yeah,
Nice. And you just have to do the border.
yeah.
That's neat.
So
It's really pretty. It looks like a knitting pattern.
So it's going to be the first one you finish?
yeah, the first one of this series that I will finish. But yeah, so this is almost done, and so I expect by the end of the day I will have finished the fox. But yeah, I was looking at it as I was stitching it, and I was like, gosh, the little on the body of each of these animals is there's a little pattern, right? Yeah, there's little 3 or 4 stitches, making a little pattern on them, and that's consistent with all of the animals. They're not just like solid colors, right? And I thought, gosh, that on his body, and it's it doesn't really show up, these little things, and it's and so I was looking at the picture, and I realized on the picture they don't really show up that well either, and it's because
It's very subtle.
because the darker orange is a gentle arts color, and so it's variegated, and then the color behind it is a DMC, another orange color. Like you can see it better on the edge of his tail here, but it's not that differentiated from the lighter aspect of the variegated thread.
Yeah.
So when the thread is on the dark end of its variegation, you could see it a little better, and when it's on the light end, it's basically almost the same color as the DMC color.
It's a nice subtle.
But yeah,
It's a nice subtle.
you can see it a little better in the tail
Yeah.
than in the body, but
like
yeah, it shows up really well, and I like the black feet and the edge of his tail and stuff like that. So yeah, and his face. So it's really pretty. So this one, the ones on the patterns on this piece of fabric are probably the most done. Especially these first 2. But yeah. So hopefully, and there's still about a week left of this month, so hopefully I'll get some good work on the barn owl. And then, oh yeah, so this little haunted house triptych thing, we went to Target the other day, and I saw this in their dollar spot. They had a combination of, they had some Halloween things, and they had some probably Thanksgiving-ish things, and then they had a few Christmas things already, so it's kind of that, and I was like, oh, but then I thought, well, we're in this limbo period. If we weren't, I probably would have, gotten a few more things. But there were some really cute little pumpkins, like with a little bit of like flocking on them or something. They were slightly fuzzy. They're really cute. Mm-hmm. And there was a really cute kind of a wreath thing. It was like one of those little crescent moons with a face, and the other half was like a wreath, like a metal circle, but then like, with a few little flowers or leaves or something on it. And I thought that would be really nice to finish like some kind of a Halloween pattern or something like that, that you could attach it somehow to that little wreath. And, and some other, fun things, but I'm like, oh, but because of the limbo situation we're in. Yeah. So yes, so the Jingle Ball tickets went on sale yesterday, Friday, and so they're still available if you want to. And it's at www.jingleball.net. And like I said, the general admission tickets are only $10 a piece, and what's nice is that I was able to do the Stitch Shenanigans retreat that McKenna did. The first one they did was in 2019, right? And so I had gone to that, and the nice thing about it was that was here. It was in Chandler, just down the road from here, so, you know, it was nice to have it here because I can't afford and really physically can't, I don't drive or anything. So one that's out of town is pretty out of the question for me. So it was really nice that there was one right here. And then the next one, the 2021, got derailed because of COVID, of course. And then she finally did stage another one, but it was in Las Vegas. So, you know. So I kind of get FOMO a little bit when the people are like, oh, I went to this retreat and I went to that retreat, and they all sound a lot like, you know, just really fun, and people get to meet up with people they know and stuff like that. So I'm really glad that Stephanie Webb has done the Jingle Ball, because for, you know, the $10 for the retreat, you know, you can look watch it on your computer or whatever, participate, and there's, you know, stitching tables basically where, you know, you go in the room and there's, you know, however many people, and you can talk to people, you can and you can lurk if you want to, just, you know, watch and not say anything, and participate at whatever level you want. And then again, like last year, I didn't do any of the classes. I think partly because I wasn't able to go to the whole thing. I don't know what was going on, but I was only able to participate in part of it. So, you know, I didn't want to spend money for a class that I couldn't attend. So I looked very carefully at the times of the classes this time, and I think I think the two that I signed up for are like on Saturday. Like I think one's in the morning, the other one's in the evening, or something like that on Saturday. But the event goes from Friday evening, I think, until midnight. Midnight Sunday night, basically, you know, and it takes into account the time differences. So it's midnight Pacific time. So anyway, you know, so you have lots of options to attend and all that. So, you know, if you're on the fence about it, go to jingleball.net and look into it, and if nothing else, you know, it's $10 to go and stitch, and you don't have to shop, you don't have to buy a class, you don't have to do anything if you don't want to, but there will be shopping come that weekend. You know, several there's 12 designers, and there will be like freebie patterns, and then like you know, you can shop with each individual. I think you have to do separate things for each person because you're paying, you know, each individual designer if you're buying a pattern from them. So
I was really impressed with the number of designers, mm-hmm. but also which designers. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm sure it was like the designers go, oh yeah, I'd like to do that, mm-hmm. you know, but it gives you an opportunity to, okay, none of them that I saw were doing berries, but I remember hearing some people on Flosstubes going, you know, I'm just not sure how to put a berry together. I said, mm-hmm. and I commented on her video and I said, it's one seam. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And making the top, yeah. You know, and I think that these classes, like putting together the house, mm-hmm. take away some of that I don't know what I'm doing,
Yeah.
and because you can watch somebody do it.
That's
Yeah,
neat. I like
and the nice
that.
thing about the classes too is that if you buy a class, you have like up to 30 days after the event to, you know, you can watch it
view it.
again and again and again, you know, to help you, you know, if there's something you don't understand, you will watch it again and, you know, whatever. So anyway, so I did sign up for the Jingle Ball, and I signed up for Lindy Stitch's little class, which is making these little mini stockings, and they're little bitty. They're like, this is the template. They're, you know, hand sized, bitty, little bitty things.
That's cute.
And when I saw them, she was showing the different things that were being offered for the different classes, and so she had the physical little stockings, you know, that she was talking about, and you know, she was, like I said, they're little bitty, and so that you could hang them on your tree or whatever, decorate with them. And it reminded me a lot of these little stockings that my grandmother made. I have a few of them, a couple of them, but she would crochet these little stocking things as decorations.
As she was losing her sight, they became less cute. I mean, because she would try, but the first several that she made before she started losing her sight were so cute, and we have so many of them.
Mm-hmm.
They're only
I
about
like
that
the
big.
ones. I like the ones that she made when she was losing her
That are
eyesight,
slightly wonky.
because they're kind of wonky and they, you know, they don't. Because it's amazing to me that she was making them.
The problem was in losing her sight. It was difficult for her to tie off one color and put on the next one. You know.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, so I bought these little stockings, and then I also bought, and spending way more money than I could really afford to spend. I don't know if you can see this. I'll put a closer picture of it, but this is by
Blue Flower.
yeah, Janine McGowan of Blue Flower, and it's called Festive Forest. And this one is another 3D thing. In the same way that a Biscornu, you know, is done, but I was looking at it, and the template for the pattern is like, it's basically a long rectangle, and there's like, you know, sort of panels, but there's a bunch of animals on there. But then each little section has a little pointy top, right? And so you make it, I guess, like a drum, and then bring the points together.
And I told her, you mean you make Eve sew it together?
No,
she made the best one use on.
yeah.
them.
I'm just joking. It's,
But anyway.
it reminds me of when you used to make globes out of paper. You remember? You'd make it would be, the printing of the world was flat and it had spikes, and you would put it and you'd glue the paper,
The ends
tabs
together, yeah, the
together.
points, yeah. And so, because
But
when I
then
first
you'll
saw
get to
this,
see her make it.
yeah. So when
Yeah,
I
that's neat.
first saw the picture, you know, this thing, I was like, how do you do that? How, you know? But then, like I said, I saw the little pattern, basically, kind of thing with the little points. I'm like, oh, I get it. So and each of these lists, has like a list of materials and things like that you'll need. Like for the stockings, there's like, you know, interfacing, and then what count of linen or whatever, as well as like the rickrack hanger things, and so on and so forth. And then like the colors for the figures and all that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I haven't gotten my PDF email from Janine McGowan yet, but you know, it was just yesterday. So, yeah, so I'm really looking forward to it. It takes place the first weekend of December, like whatever that weekend is, the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th,
I
8th.
think that's nice, because if you have the stitching ready and you watch the thing to put it together, there's plenty of time to make a gift to give to somebody, you know?
Mhm.
789.
Yeah, it could be, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So, yeah.
Or no, December?
Yeah, December.
6, 7, 8.
Yeah, that's right. Why don't I
So it
have
starts Friday
a
night.
calendar? Yeah. So yeah, that's you know, a little exciting
That sounds like fun.
news.
And as opposed to a physical retreat,
Yeah, you don't.
you don't have to go, you don't, if you're busy some portion of the day, work or what have you, you can still attend when you're
Not,
available.
yeah.
Yeah, and you don't have to pay for a hotel room. You don't have to pay, all that kind of stuff. So you can be in your pajamas if you want to,
But,
for the
you
comfort
know,
of your own home.
It's a little
Well,
bit like Knit Stars, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's more accessible for people that can't get off of work or what have you. So
So I was talking about the stuff that they had at Target in the dollar spot, which where I found these little houses. And the thing is that I was thinking about that this side there's bats and stuff like that for Halloween, but you could just as easily turn it around and use this
You
side
could
and
paint
use it
Christmas
for-
lights on it.
Yeah,
You could paint that
Yeah.
side.
yeah, that's right. You could decorate it for Christmas. But anyway, so yeah. So there's this, but then also, like I said, in the dollar spot they had other stuff. So I bought these little Christmas things. There's the little gingerbread man and the little thing. And they had a kitten, a cat, a little black cat, but it wasn't very cute. It was kind of smashy looking and wasn't as well done. These little guys, are a little better.
Very cute.
Yeah, I like the penguin, but like on the side of his head, he's kind of
Yeah.
like got sloppy glue, on there. But what the heck? What do you want for $1? So, but I
Not
thought
the
they were
gum
cute.
drop buttons.
What?
Not the gumdrop buttons.
But
Sorry.
anyway, so
Is that
I
you?
love the gingerbread man in Shrek.
Oh,
In the, I guess it's the second one. I don't
I
know.
think so, yeah.
yeah, so that's
Well, first and second.
yeah.
That's you? And now it's time for question of the week. Last week we asked how you decorate for seasons, whether you do like fall and then winter, or do you do Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and Rachel responded that she does mostly like atmospheric. Now she used to do, I think she said she used to do a lot more, and now she does more like with scents and lotions and things like that to kind of give the feel of the season. For me, I always want to do, and I don't do it. So that's me. I have the desire and not the execution.
But when
I mean, like for every little,
yeah.
When we didn't pack up our stuff, I decorated
Yeah.
for the season every time. I changed the tablecloth. I would change out my berries. I would put different stuff on the coffee table. I don't really do hanging stuff, but I would change it out.
Yeah.
And so I'd see stuff at the store and go, I can't put that out right now.
The most I did when I haven't really done anything since I moved out here.
Yeah.
I did. The first year I lived here, I did this thing that I think I saw it on Pinterest or someplace like that. But these big, and I have pictures that I took back then.
I have a picture of you
these-
with it on your head.
Yeah. But they were these big globe things made out of plastic cups that you stapled together basically, and then you drilled holes, I guess, in the bottom of the cups, and you put Christmas lights in the holes.
FYI, you
And-
break a lot of cups.
Yeah, and it's a big pain in the butt. And unless you have like a garage or someplace to store these, they're
That
yeah.
sounds like fun.
And
It was fun.
It was,
We had
it was
a
fun,
good
and it looked good. You know, when because on my the balcony of my apartment that Christmas, you know, I had them hanging up there, so there's these big things and they're full of lights and all that. But you know, the thing about Christmas, and I always kind of felt this way with my apartment when I lived in Little Rock. Because like I had kind of a very narrow window of when I could do stuff, and it was usually like the first weekend after Thanksgiving, you know, and because then because I was playing in the orchestra, then every weekend in December there was something, you know, we had concerts and concerts and concerts, and so that first weekend, you know, was when I would go and get a tree, and I would put my lights up and stuff like that. So it was, and I also had students and, you know, stuff like that. So it was very exhausting, but I liked it. I liked having the, you know, the Christmas tree in the corner and the lights. But then like what I really hated was putting everything away afterward.
Yeah. I guess I don't really do like Halloween around the house. I would do fall, but I've just been so behind. So mostly I focus on Christmas. Question this week. Here's the new question of the week. We were talking about fabrics and cross stitch, and we were wondering what kinds of fabrics do you like to do your cross stitch on? Because they are always talking about linens, and what did you say? Like which count?
Ada, Lugana, what kind of count?
Yeah.
What I've found is that I have some stuff on Ada, and I still have, you know, I'll use that occasionally, and I don't have like, I know some people like, you know, they get a kit and has Ada and they switch it out, whatever, and I don't really do that as much as I've taken to dyeing the Ada that comes in the kit. So because I've decided in the last several years, I guess, that it's like, you know, I don't want to stitch on white. I have a thing about it, and I guess if a piece is full coverage, it's not that big a deal. But if the fabric's going to show, I really kind of part of me doesn't.
I have no idea because I have only really ever done Ada. So, and I think I got for this, I was saying for this one long dog samplers, I got something else that you told me to get. I can't even remember what it was, but it's very small, and I think I don't like it.
Well, that's what, you know, that's what, like I when I restarted that wandering sheep pattern. I had started it originally on something like, I don't know, 46 count or something, and it was a fabric that I found at Hobby Lobby. They have or have had one a couple of colors that are 46 count. And then, you know, and then some, they have some denser count of like embroidery fabric. And so I've used those, but again, they're kind of small.
What do you usually gravitate toward?
I found that the more often I do it, that I really like 28 count Lugana is kind of my jam.
What about you, Eve?
I like 32 count and 14 count, 16 count, 18 count Ada. But I don't like, I bought for one of the berries 32 count linen.
I remember you saying you don't like that.
I hated it because the weave is very loose. And yet I bought a 32 count linen that I love. I haven't used it for, I've only used it for one thing, both of them. But so in the future, I have to like feel the fabric.
Yeah, there are things, you know, there's, and I don't completely, I think at one point I thought I understood, but I don't necessarily. But it has to do with, I guess, like the blend of if it's all cotton, if it's all linen, if it's include some polyester or whatever. But like there's Lugana, and there's linen, and there's Jobelin, and various things like that. And so that has to do a lot of times with the denseness of the weave and the softness of the fabric. So that's why I like Lugana, because it tends to be a little more dense, and like the 28 count Lugana that I used it's almost like it's very dense. It's almost like I always think of it as like denim, how denim feels. So when you buy a pair of jeans or whatever, that thickness. Like this is 32 count linen. This is 28 or 32
This is
count
32
linen.
count.
Yeah.
This is 32 count Lugana.
And so
oh, I see. It's got it's like
it's denser. Yeah.
yeah, it's like a
The whole, one of the problems I have with linen, and
this is
some of the linens
Lugana.
are beautiful, but one of the problems I have with it is that the whole, and it isn't that sometimes it's uneven with nubs. That's not the problem. The problem is that sometimes the weave is so loose, it's difficult to see where the square is.
And I've seen some of your linens, it seems to lose its shape as you work on it.
There's one.
Like
There's
it's like it looks like it stretches, so
Right.
like it wouldn't be a square anymore. It'd be kind of like
yeah. There's the one I did.
this is linen.
Yeah, the one I did mother on it was. But the fabric that I used was a very open, very loose weave, and so if I pulled the thread, the threads of the linen would go, and also it like the needle would basically fall when I was trying to pass it through and fall out of the hole or whatever.
Let me ask this question as a non-cross stitch person. What is the aesthetic appeal of using a loose weave like that? So why do some people choose it? Does it have a particular look once it's done, or?
I don't know.
I think because I stitch in hand is why I like a firmer fabric. Now, the linen that I told you that I liked, it was linen.
Yeah.
But it wasn't wobbly.
Like this one doesn't seem very wobbly. This one seems very,
Yeah.
like you can't really
So
distort
you can
it.
get linens that aren't like with this big old wide weave. And another thing is that if you're somebody who likes to take this the thread behind, you don't cut it off constantly. Is it traveling behind? If it's got a really loose weave, you can see it easier.
Oh, yeah. And you'd also think you'd run into accidentally puckering the work, right?
Right. Yeah. I think,
Especially when you stitch in hand. Yeah.
So you don't use hoops at all, ever?
I had to start using hoops on that linen that I was telling you about. There's a couple of things that I'll use a hoop on, but I find them frustrating because I can't get my needle in where I want it, and
you use hoops.
I tried getting, I tried a couple of different things, and I just get frustrated and take it out.
Yeah, I find the hoops, especially these that Hobby Lobby has carried now that have the little ridge in them. I find them excellent because the frustration I had before with a wooden hoop, or with there's some that like Walmart carries some of them, and I think Joanne carries them, that the fabric slips. They have like a lip to try to hold the cloth in place, but they still slip a little bit. But these with the ridge in them, the fabric is much more stable.
Do you ever worry about like distortion of not even of the fabric, but of the stitches that you do?
Yes.
Not really. No, I don't. Except for, like I said, that one fabric that was so loose.
That's why you want a good tension.
Yeah.
And even when I'm stitching, if I'm stitching on a fabric that I feel like it doesn't have the right tension.
Yeah.
I do with my hand.
Yeah.
But it's never as good as it's going to be in a hoop.
Yeah.
So you have to go back and look and see what your stitches look like.
Yeah, and there are times when I've taken the fabric and kind of like pulled it a little bit to sort of settle things a little bit better.
Sure.
And especially I think the one thing I worry about is like this one I've kind of left in the hoop, you know, because I've gone so long with working on it, and you can see the wrinkles
in there.
Yeah.
But that should all come out. You know, you talk about ironing.
Mm-hmm.
I bought at Costco for $35, $45 maybe, a steamer.
Mm-hmm.
That is the best steamer I've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
We used to have one a long time ago that had a tank that sat on the floor and a big hose, and you would use it. And it was nice because along with it had a rack where you put your clothes, and then the hose would sit in the rack. Kind of cumbersome a bit, but that hose would get so hot that you would burn it. This is a little handheld thing. It has a tank of water right on it. It has the steamer section, and it's got a bunch of attachments, and you can actually turn it sideways and steam this way, but also, of course, steam on a hanger. And I was just thinking, I'm itching to get my steamer. You could just put it up with like a pants hanger and just right down, and it would be beautiful. So this will all steam right out. And what's nice about steaming better than I think ironing is that it really relaxes the. Anyway. So that's our fabric discussion, and we would like to know what kind of fabrics you use, because it seems to be a very personal choice once you get into it and you start to really refine your tastes. Like I said, I'm a complete newbie. I just haven't done enough of it, but I do know that I don't like whatever that tiny thing I was using before was. So, I mean, I like the idea of it and the neatness, and I do like the samples I saw, and the reason I chose that, I was doing like one thread, 1/1, I guess you told me, but it was so small. I had to use a magnifying glass, and I'm like, I can't do this for how many thousand stitches this is.
Somebody had was talking on Facebook, somewhere I guess, in one of the groups I was in, about a fabric that they had bought that was 40 count, and they had never stitched on 40 count before, and this person was saying, you know, like asking for advice, you know, what do I do, whatever, and my advice was that you need bright light. You know, the smaller the count is, the more sort of, you know, because you want it, you just have to be able to see it. To see the, you know, and if like in here, you know, the light is good, but it's a little bit on compared to what I'm used to, because I have that little spotlight that I use, you know, that, you know, it feels diffuse to me. It's not dark in here, but like with the little spotlight that I have, it's like a reading light, you know, but I'm able to, you know, spotlight it on my thing. And when, you know, if I can't see, I just, you know, put it more at the light, and I'm like, oh, there's what I'm doing. And so the you know, that with that tiny count like that, you really need intense light, and, you know.
It's the same with me, especially if you're using like dark colors or something. But but yes, so we would love to hear from you, and I kind of gotta go. I have another concert tonight. I'm working all weekend, but I don't work next weekend, which is nice. I think we have a weekend actually off. Unbelievable, because the orchestra's doing the ballet. They don't have time off, but we have. And so that'll be nice.
But you almost died on the way here?
I did. So, well, I don't think I would have died, but I would have been angry enough to like kill somebody. No, I was driving on a little residential street. You know that little, you know when you go down Kyrene and then you turn on that little street that goes through those two parks. You go around, because I was going to McDonald's, and I'm driving along, and there's a neighborhood right here, and there's like a divided driveway in and out. And so this truck is coming out, and I see him coming out, and then he kind of lurched, almost like his foot fell off the brake pedal or something. But he lurched out into the street. And I'm like, if I had stayed in my lane, we would have hit each other. And I was like, I didn't even have time to honk. I just went like this around it. And he just kept coming. Like, no stop, no nothing, no looking, no zero. If there had been someone coming the other way, they would have hit him too. It's like, what are you doing?
It reminds me of yesterday, we were out running around, and Eve meant to turn on this one street, and she like, is this the right way? Oh, and before we knew it, we were past it, and so she pulled into this other place, and then she was like, "Where's the driveway? How do I get out of here?" And there was a UPS truck that was coming, and we were kind of like, waiting on each other, and so she waved him on, and so he went. And as we were going, she was like, "Yeah, so always follow the UPS truck because they know where they're going. They know where all the
they know where the exits are.
They know the fast way.
Yeah, they know how to get out of there.
And they'll run you down if you're in their way."
Well, sometimes when you turn into a parking lot, you go,
"How do I get out of here?"
Here's the exit.
Yep.
Yeah.
But the concert was good. Oh, okay, so you'll like this. Concert was good last night. But I was at the marketing table, and I was there with a couple of my colleagues, and this gentleman comes up, and okay, so last season we did one concert weekend of a concert called Resurrection Mixtape, and what it was we had played Mahler 2, right? Last year? Was it Mahler 2? I think it was. It was a Mahler with a chorus.
Sound the same to me.
It was a Mahler with a chorus, the Resurrection Symphony. Okay, so we played that one week, and then the next week, there's a composer named what is his name? Steve Hackman, and he does these mashups, and they're pops concerts, but he's the one who did the Beatles that you liked. So he combined Mahler 2 symphony with the music of these two rappers who are also deceased. And I didn't go to the concert, but I was out of town. But it was amazing. We thought it's never going to sell. It's not selling. And then we hit the sweet spot with marketing and everything, and a whole different crowd of concert goers came, like brand new to us, never set foot inside. And the three concerts were full. They weren't sold out, but they were full, and the energy was amazing, and everybody loved it, and it was a wonderful exposure for the orchestra, and to bring a whole new crowd of people in to be like, we are we're relevant, because I think obviously all of that music is relevant. Traditional classical music is relevant, pops is relevant, like having live music is the thing.
People have a stigma about it.
Right.
Yeah.
So this gentleman walked up and he goes, I used to be a subscriber, but I'm not a subscriber anymore. Or something like, I'm proud to not be a subscriber, something along those lines. And he goes, because you decided to mix classical music with rap music, and that's a no-no. And one of my colleagues, who actually programmed that, said, "Did you see how many people came that are brand new to us?" And he said, "Well, good for them, but that's but it's not for me." And I think one of my colleagues said, "Well, it was only one concert," and he goes, "Well, you're doing it again." Because this year, we're bringing Steve Hackman back, and he's doing Beethoven and Beyonce. Beethoven's 7.
Oh,
and
that
Beyonce's
sounds so
music.
good.
Yeah. And I think it's going to be great.
I think they would be great together. Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of holy, sacred territory in Beethoven 7, but I think the way he has done and the work that he's done, I'm intrigued. And I think a lot of people will be intrigued. So anyway, so he was like, he was just like, "You're doing it again, and this is just, well, good for them, but it's not for me." And but he was there. Mm-hmm. He bought a ticket because he wanted to come hear the Firebird. And so I'm just like, it's so frustrating because obviously we're just trying to sell seeds, but also we're trying to be we're trying to be not watered down in the sense like all things to all people, but we're trying to be relevant and to offer also, like, we have 11 robust,
Something that other people would come and hear.
we have 11 robust, great, stalwart classics concerts.
Doesn't he realize
And-
that most of these performers that he calls classical, in their day, they were considered rebels in music?
Yeah, exactly. And so it's like, also, don't you want people to support the organization? You want us to play classical music? Guess what? Those concerts don't sell as well as the others. And so sometimes you need something to pay. I always say something to pay the bills and something to give the chills, right?
Well,
So you have to, and actually, I think our classics are doing better than our pops in general. But we're always striving. You know, what do people want, and how do we be relevant? And anyway, it was just so rude and short-sighted, and I was like, I wish I didn't have my badge on, because you know and he didn't even want to stay to discuss it. He just stormed off. But you know, it was just you know, it's like we know we're doing the right thing, and those thousands of people that came to that concert last year have a very good feeling about the Phoenix Symphony.
I was gonna say,
And maybe they're not subscribers this year. Maybe they didn't turn around and get the classical season, but we're on their radar.
Yeah.
And we're on their. They know that we provide an incredible. Because I think also the thing that we keep trying to say is like live music is such a big difference to hearing it on Spotify, YouTube. You know, we keep talking about that live music is really
that's one thing that
the key.
That with you know, playing in the symphony, that there was one guy that but he was always saying stuff like, well, you know, the like the symphony is dying, the format
The
or
art.
the idea or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
But the thing is that, you know, like, that's one reason why you do like children's concerts and things like that and outreaches, and like we did the Beethoven Blue Jeans concert every year, and so because, you know, you're with the Beethoven Blue Jeans, we would do like a Beethoven symphony or a Beethoven piece or whatever, and then other things, but it would be like a big
Like a classical pops kind of thing.
Well, that's
kind
why.
of, but we would do like a street fair. They would
Yeah.
have like beer and brats out on the, you know, they would close off the end of the block there, and they would have like basically a street party.
Oh, that's fun.
Like one year they had there was a local steel drum band, and they played. And some things like that. So there was always, you know, a bunch of festivities going on, and then people would go in and hear the concert. But then also, you know, that sort of like, I remember when I was in high school, I was in the youth symphony, and a friend of mine from school went to go hear some concert. I don't remember what we were playing, but she was kind of amazed, like, because it was like, or maybe she went to hear a musical, I don't know what, but she was like, you know, it's, you know, she was like, it's like, she was amazed that people could play it live, I guess, kind of like, you know, it's like a recording, but it's live, you know, that kind of thing.
Well, that's why Albuquerque Symphony would do those Mother's Day concerts at the zoo, because people would hear the symphony who would never buy a ticket.
Right.
And then they'd go, I like that.
Yeah.
And they might go buy a ticket.
Exactly. And you know, so I think it's, you know, there's these people who want to be purists and say, you know, that you can't pander to, you know, society or whatever, but society is changing. And we've adopted a phrase that says symphony for all. And if we're going to say that, we've got to mean it. And that means people who aren't familiar with the old classics, people who really, you know, and one of the things we've also heard is people want education. So we started on Friday nights. We have an after-concert discussion with our associate conductor and some musicians, and kind of like a download. He's like, our associate conductor says, there's lots of pre-concert talks. People have pre-concert talks, and you talk about what you're about to hear, but you never get to talk about what you just heard and process that and be like, that was amazing. How do you guys do that? Because you can't, because after you've heard it, you have that experience, and then you have questions, you know?
Right.
So we have this post-concert talk on Friday nights. We're just trying to be relevant and to be obviously true to ourselves, but also, you know, and it's so disappointing when someone says stuff like that.
I think
short-sighted and
I think what you were talking about, exposure, is very relevant, because like I remember reading about when the movie Platoon came out, and there's a scene, you know, in there where
very sad. Everyone's dying.
Yeah, and there's some piece of classical music that's you know,
the Barbara Adagio for sure.
Yeah,
right?
that's used in this piece, and these people at this music store were saying, people kept coming in and saying, "I want that music from Platoon. Do you have the music from Platoon?" And they're like, "The Barbara." So you know, they were selling it because people didn't know the name of the piece, but they knew that they liked it. Yeah. And like in the movie Alien, the original Alien movie, at the end, the Hanson, I forget the name of the piece.
Is it also a serenade?
Yeah, something like it. But anyway, but it's, you know,
Howard Hanson.
Yeah, so people hear
it's a real classical piece rather than a soundtrack written
right. And so they, you know, they use that as you know, in the recording, and so people saw it in the movie, and they associated the images or whatever with this piece of music, and they are drawn to it. And so you know, anything you can do that people say, "Oh, I heard that and I really liked it." And it may be, it's hard because it's like getting people to go to church, you know, that you're dealing with a sort of preconceived notion about what it's like to go to the symphony. Only stuffy old people go to the symphony, and only rich people go to the symphony.
What's nice is like
all that.
You see the crowds now; they are very diverse, and like families and all different kinds of young people, young adults coming. Like, and I always, you know, like, is this your first time? And they're like, yes. And so one couple came, and she had been before, and he had not. And I was like, there's a post-concert talk, you know, so that they could actually get more exposure and more understanding of what they're doing. Yeah. And the other thing is like I think when people think classical music, they think you know, Bach, Mozart, which are and they are amazing and miraculous composers. But also there's I think that you have to have a deeper understanding of classical music in general to really relate and to recognize the genius. You know what I'm saying? Like I think, but I think there are certain pieces, even like the Firebird. Like I was listening to rehearsal on Thursday, and the last movement of the Firebird suite. I played it 100 times. I've heard it 100 times, and I'm sitting in the concert hall and having it be live and so big and loud. And I said to my friend, I was like, why does that piece hit you in the gut? It's like something visceral that Stravinsky found, like a button to push that makes you feel something. And so what my point is, like, unless you've experienced it, you have to get past that notion to get into the hall and then experience it, and then you are like your brain is like, woo.
Well, when you were talking about
that's something also like with young Rembrandts that they're trying to teach the kids. The reason it's called Rembrandts is because Rembrandt was known for having students and teaching students, and also in their curriculum, you know, they do a lot of educational pieces, and this time there was one of Van Gogh's. And they were supposed to do a sunflower thing. And but before that, we had to tell them who he was and kind of explain. And then they had a printout of the actual piece. And one of the kids goes, "Isn't he the one that cut off his ear?" Because that's the only thing they remember.
Yeah.
That's the only. I said, "Yeah, but that's not the important thing about him.
Yeah.
The important thing, it wasn't his mental illness.
Right.
The important thing was his beautiful pieces that he put out." And I said, "He didn't draw perfect flowers. That wasn't the point. He didn't draw the perfect field of
Like photograph.
yeah,
Yeah.
that wasn't the point. You know, you can see, like in Starry Night, you can see emotion
Yeah.
in that. And I said, don't think. I said, because a lot of people didn't like his work. His family didn't like his work. His brother threw away, and his mother threw away a lot of his paintings. So I said, do not think that there is anything wrong with your work. Do not let anybody tell you that there's anything wrong with what you're painting, because God doesn't expect you to do what they're doing. God expects you to do what you're doing. You know?
But, you know, as I say, that kind of exposure, it's, you know, it's like the concerts. You're letting them know that this is what it's like. This is what you can do. This is what anybody can do, to whatever level your ability is. But if you've never, you know,
It's literally teaching appreciation.
right, yeah.
Like,
And what I was thinking about when you were talking about that man that not, you know, objected to it, it reminded me of the, you know, there's very famous stories of like when, I don't know if it's a Rite of Spring or something like that, where there were like people in the audience like fighting and, you know, over this music, because some people said, oh, it's really great, and other people said, oh, it's really horrible, and they're like, and I was like, nowadays that wouldn't happen.
they just come to the
They were
marketing,
like,
they just come to the marketing table and yeah.
But you know, that kind of passion about like, you know, is it good? Is it not good? You know, do we want to hear more of this? Do we not want? Is it
People just walk out
innovation?
now. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think back then too, it was like people cared about the art so much that they were passionate about it, and they were like, this should not be. And some people were like, this should be. And
Yeah.
so
Nowadays,
now
they just do it
like,
on the internet.
Yeah, or like, I'm just not going to pay for this. You know,
Yeah.
I want my money back. But,
I think they did that a lot before.
well,
Yeah.
so- well, thank you so much for joining us again for our much varied and diverse topics of conversation. We hope you got a lot of stitching done while you were listening.
And tell us about your fabric.
And tell us about your fabric and what you enjoy doing. If you're a newbie like me, let me know so I'm not alone. And we will see you again next week. Same time, same place, same station, hopefully not same clothes at class. I'll try to coordinate better next week. Thanks so much. Bye.
Bye. Oh,
Okay,
rotate bye.
no. You can't see her. There she is. Here, come move my drink.
There she is.
Bye. Say bye.